So I was just born and raised here in a little tiny farm town called Morgan. It's where Roy's from. He's my uncle. That's how I got into, I guess, this type of sales. After high school, I served a mission, and that really helped me with like connecting with people. And I figured I'd try sales. So why the heck not? And I got into car sales. When I first got out, I worked for Young's, for you here that are in Utah. I worked for them for like a year or so, well, almost 2 years. And it was not that fun. They took up way too much of my time. I was dating my wife at the time, and we had just gotten married, and it was a drain. And my uncle's like, "Hey, why don't you try to come work for me? I do whatever the heck I want." And my uncle's always been, I would definitely say, a big inspiration to me. And he makes pretty good money. He has a lot of fun. He balances that work-life balance. And so that's how I got into this. He kind of dragged me in, and here I am.
What did he say? What did he say specifically that, like, I mean, was it just kind of like his lifestyle that attracted you, or was it like?
Yeah. My uncle's always going on horse rides, and I would have to take off work and be stressed out to go on those horse rides or to do anything with my family. So that always kind of freaked me out. And I just saw how he was living, and I thought, heck, man, if he can make it work, I'm gonna make it work, because it sounds like a lot more fun than what I'm doing. And on top of that, you do get to honestly help people out. And the serious part of our business is, yeah, we're dealing with death, and that's never a fun thing, but many people aren't prepared for it. So there's a couple of bonuses to it.
Right. So when did you start here?
I got all my testing done March, May-ish, the beginning of May. And then I really didn't hit full-blown tilt till probably June, July of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So fairly new. And last week, what'd you write? Like 14,000, 13,000?
I was 12.7 something. I was just shy of 13.
Okay, just shy of 13. That was a record week for you, right?
It was, yeah, that was a really good week.
And this week we're right under 10,000, and we're basically at the halfway point. So you should probably surpass your record week. So you got some crazy momentum, and you're
The
new.
goal's 20K this week, so I'm gonna make it happen.
Hey, he made it public, guys. You hear that? 20K.
Hold me to it. I'm doing it.
All right, man.
I think you can do it, man. I got you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. So that's really impressive, especially with your tenure here, meaning, you're not a super seasoned agent that's been here. So I love having new people on that are having a lot of success like that, because I just like to see the inside of the mind of a new agent. Like, what are you doing? So I guess, yeah, we'll kind of dive into some of that. What did your training process look like, bro? Like, did you just kind of, did you shadow Roy? Did you just kind of like watch a lot of videos? Let's kind of talk about what you did to just kind of prepare yourself for this business.
Yeah. In the beginning, and I'm pretty sure we've all been through this, I definitely struggled with it, and it kicked me pretty hard a couple of times. And I've always had those thoughts of, man, I'm going to quit. This stinks. My uncle's kind of the type of guy who really throws you into the fire and is like, go do it. You can do this. And he's like, just read the script with me a couple of times. And then he threw me on a cell. Totally didn't get it. And I failed a lot. And I'm really glad that I failed a ton, because it's helped me quite a bit. So him and Clinton, and I would say Samir, were the first couple of guys that were able to help me walk through the process and stick to the script. Because yeah, if you know your stuff, but you don't know, and I think Harold brought this up a couple of days ago, and that's an incredible parable that Harold gave of like going to the gym kind of a thing. And it really hit me. It's those roadblocks. If you don't know where you're going and you don't know where you're ending at, you're done for from the beginning. You're going to get a question, and it's going to throw you off the entire thing. And that's one thing that all the guys in the beginning who helped me would always say, stay on the script. And I do. I have it pulled up every time, and I read from it. And the second I get off, I answer their question and get right back on and keep going. But that's kind of initially what it looked like. I shadowed Roy and read the script 1,000 different times.
Yeah. Did you practice the script like on family members, or like in the mirror, or did you just kind of like, you just kind of went in and just started reading it? What?
All of it. Yeah, no. With car sales, we were always taught to smile anytime before a call or anytime before you go talk to anybody, because you can hear my voice now. I'm more serious, but if I was talking like this, we can obviously feel the change and we can hear the change. And then we all start to smile as well.
Yeah.
And so every time I try and read the script, I look at it, I say, hello, John, I'm Chase. My name is, so-and-so, whatever. I'm calling you about our mortgage protection appointment. I was the one texting you, right? And I go through it with a smile on my face. And I used to read it in the mirror. I used to read it to my Uncle Roy. I used to read it to my dad, my wife. I've read it to her countless times, and to myself. I constantly am role-playing the script almost every day with myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked that because it's the writing's on the wall, man. It's the agents that have a lot of success quick, they just, we tell people like, hey, you don't want to practice and practice and practice and try and be prepared so much where to the point where like you kind of have like this paralysis analysis. You don't want it to get to that point, but there is a balance also. Like, the agents that have a lot of success quick, they are much more prepared, for like their presentation and things like that in the beginning. So it's obviously clear that you put in a lot of time into that before like you actually started hitting the phones for real, which is clear. All right, so you started like back in June-ish, and you just had your record week, and you're following it up again with probably another record week. What's the difference, bro? Like because you didn't do that before. What does your schedule look like now? What does your lead flow look like? Just kind of elaborate on that, like the difference between then and now.
One of the key differences is how much time I'm putting in and how much time I'm sitting in front of the screen. And obviously I have my day structured now completely different than what I did. When I first started, I thought this was going to be a relatively easy thing. Like, yeah, I'll hop on an hour every now and again, make $1,000 for the day and walk away. That's not how it works, maybe for some people, but that'd be the first time I've ever heard of it. You've got to put in more work than that. And so every day, starting January, and Harold's been helping me out a ton with this too. And he's one of the main reasons I attribute my success to where I'm at now, along with the other guys that help me. But every day I get up at 6 o'clock, and no matter what time it is or when I went to bed, I get up at 6 o'clock. I work out for an hour. I'm also a pretty religious guy. I study scriptures for about an hour after that, from 7 till 8. Unless I have an appointment. And from whenever my appointments start, if that's 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I'll be running them, period. So if it's crazy early in the morning, I'm going to get up at least 30, 40 minutes before exercise to get my blood flowing, my mind going. I run my appointments, but make sure I'm physically and mentally prepared for the day. And then at 8 o'clock every day, I'm on Zoom, or a little earlier, and I'm on Zoom till 5, unless my appointments go long. And if they go long, they go long. I'm here to work. So it's been a real big change in my mindset of I'm here every day and I'm working. And if I don't have an appointment coming up, I'm following up with old appointments. I'm following up with no-shows. I'm following up with some people that I've sold, and I'm finding out any single way I can to get another appointment or to find money to hit my bank account, because that's what it's all about. And it's been a massive change in my mental shift. My mental game is completely different than what it was last year, 100%.
Dude,
and it's about 100 leads a day is what I'm doing. And then I think they're tier 3s.
So you're doing 100 leads a day, tier 3, and on Zoom, non-negotiables from 8 to 5.
Yep.
Man, guys, you heard me say it again. Last week, that's the freaking recipe. It's 100 leads a day. It's, if you guys are not doing that, I don't know how many times we have to say it. Like, that is the recipe to write the kind of numbers that these top producers are doing. Man, dude, I really like your schedule, bro. So did you not do that before last year, like that, and you kind of switched that to this year? Or
I would always work out. I never had a set schedule, and because I like to stay physically fit. I got into that in high school. And so I'd work out throughout the day. Like if I had nothing going on, I'd go lift. I'd go lift in the evening. And some days I'd miss a day, and it didn't really matter to me. And same thing with studying. And I also studied different languages as well, like Latin and German. And because I think learning is a good thing. And you should always be learning, whether that's insurance, whether that's your religion, whether that's simple, just knowledge, going to college and doing stuff like that. And I've been trying to take college courses and get a degree in computer science and coding. And so constantly doing stuff now with a set schedule is something I used to not be doing.
Yeah.
So that's a new thing for me.
That's impressive, bro. You're studying Latin?
I want to learn all the languages of love. I speak Spanish fluently right now, and I understand Portuguese and Italian and some of those other languages of love. But I'd like to learn
languages. Did you say? Sorry, man. You say languages of love?
Yeah, the love languages. Like Italian, Portuguese, Spanish. I think one's Romanian.
They also call them romance
French
languages, Isaiah.
That
romance
one too. That's what I'm getting at. Yes, romance languages.
This. I didn't know, dude. This is the first time I've ever heard this. This is awesome, though.
Yeah, but they're all based off of Latin, and so is English. And Latin's a really interesting language. It helps kind of unlock different things. And I feel if you don't understand your own, if you don't understand different languages, you don't understand your own language. Anyways, but just personal goals as well as work goals.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude. Did you learn the languages from your mission? Was that what it was, or
yeah?
Okay, cool. It's actually a goal of mine, dude. So, you guys know me and Carolina have been together for a while, and she's Argentinian, and a lot of times at the family dinner, they're all speaking Spanish and laughing, and I'm just like, are they talking smack about me? I don't know what's going. What I mean? But I want to learn that too, dude. So I can join in on the fun. But wow, man, I'm really impressed with you, bro. All right, so you have some personal goals this year and some business goals this year. I guess I'll ask you what your business goals are later at the end. But let's go through your sales process, bro. I kind of want to hear what that sounds like. So you're running most of your lead flow from the CRM, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
All
of it. So are all your leads aged mortgage, or are you kind of mixing in some other stuff in there?
Yeah, I would like to be able to get into all of it, whether that's a different type of annuity, IUL, and more of those advanced market sales. It's a good thing to understand more than just one type. Same with final expense, but for now I'm just dead set on mortgage protection, just the aged.
Yeah, that's one thing we have to do. We have to get better at as an agency is the advanced market sales, because you guys all know Matt Smith. Matt Smith said if you run 30 appointments a week for a year, you will come across, he's like, there's no doubt you will come across $1 million in a year, at least $1 million that a client is willing to roll into an annuity. Bare minimum, $1 million. Not just seeing it, but seeing that much that people are willing to move over. So just getting confident at handling that is, something that we want to get better at. So I'm kind of bouncing off topic here, but we're starting to promote on Thursdays, guys, the advanced market sales call. So please make sure, if that is something that you want to add to your toolbox, Thursdays, it's freaking phenomenal. It's really, really, really good stuff. And so just block that time out in your day. Elisa posted it in Discord, the schedule. So block that out in your day. Don't run appointments during that time. If you want to add that to your toolbox, I promise you it's going to be well worth it. You start listening to that call, week over week over week over week, you'll get the right, verbiage, the word tracks, the confidence. You'll know how things work, and you'll be confident to be able to ask for people's money to roll over. So yeah, that just kind of reminded me of that, dude. So a lot of new agents that are new, they struggle with paying off the whole house versus equity protection or mortgage payment protection. I want to hear kind of how you go about that, how you set that up.
Yeah, so obviously first things first, before I even start the appointment, I'm looking at their card. That way I'm prepared, at least kind of what I'm going to do. Because sometimes, you get a 7-year-old who's like, I'm willing to spend $800 a month for a 10-year policy. And you're like, okay, if you're healthy, let's do it. But you always have those weird ones. But for the most part, based upon their age, I kind of generally know where I'm going to go. And I like to keep it simple. If they're young and healthy and young enough, I give them a return of premium. If they're not, but they're still pretty young, I always kind of try to do the payoff. And then obviously once they get above kind of the age of 50, they start to have issues. And from that point on, I look into final expense or whole life. And then I always spin it, make it a positive thing. But for me, that's not too big of a deal. It just depends on how healthy they sound. And so, like, say halfway through, they're young, but they're like, I got COPD. I instantly just switch right over, keep going like nothing even happened, and now I'm at final expense. I just changed it. I make sure I write every single thing down, period. Whether that's height, weight, medications they take, because I can't tell you how many times I have screwed that up and I don't remember their information. You know what I'm saying? And I've messed up a lot, and I attribute that to my success nowadays, and I'm glad I do. And to the point, I still mess up all the time. But this little book, the client assessment book, everything goes down in that, period. All their information, even little random things they tell me so I can make conversation. If they call where they live boring, I call it boring halfway through this, the script. I'll be like, how's old boring, North Carolina doing for you today? Or I don't know, something dumb. I write everything down. So that's how I guess I go for age.
Okay. So basically kind of like correct me if I'm wrong, you're basically kind of your rule of thumb is like up until like age 50, you're kind of going term, but if like they're in the 50s and they have some health issues, you're going final
expense, roughly. Yeah.
60 and up, you're going final expense usually.
No, unless again, because you can kind of judge the situation. If they've got a super expensive mortgage, they're probably paying a lot of money and they're probably raking in quite a bit of money. I did like a 65-year-old lady maybe last week. She wanted just like 10 years of coverage. And I was like, okay. She had a ton of money. She was pretty healthy. Didn't really have any issues. Took like lisinopril. And I was like, we can get you approved. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We did. So, I mean, that was good news, but she was okay to spend quite a bit of money. She was like a dean at Duke College, like one of the top ladies there. And I was like, that's freaking cool. Awesome. So, yeah.
Okay. So let's pretend you have someone that's like in their 60s. Okay. But they have a lot of health issues and you need to go with, like an equity protection or a payment protection. How are you explaining that to them? You know what I mean? Because they're going into the appointment assuming the house is getting paid off entirely, right? So how do you pitch that?
Yeah. So one thing I bank on is time. And I always clarify with the beneficiary. When you get to the older couples, sometimes they're not together. If they are, that's fine. But I always bank upon what they're going to do with the home. Are you planning on keeping it? Are you planning on selling it? What is your game plan? So let's say they're planning on selling it. I'm like, there is no need for you to pay off the home already in my mind. If you're selling the home, that's pointless. Why? You're going to spend a ton of money now and you're not even going to qualify. And then if you don't qualify and I try to dump you down into final expense, I'm going to lose the appointment and lose the sell. So I talk about how great it is as I'm going through this, because think about it. If you guys are just going to sell the home after you pass away, all you need is what? 12 months. Homes are going super fast. I run now North Carolina, and I know homes are going fast all over the US, but I'm like, homes are going crazy fast there in North Carolina, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, like hotcakes. You don't want to, pay for anything above 24 months of mortgage payments because your house is going to be gone. And they're like, that's a good point. I'm like, yeah. And then I say, and then of course there's payment plans. And this is what I'm going to show you because they're cheaper and they're a lot easier to qualify for. And they're going to do exactly what you need. And then I just explain them. So if, Isaiah wanted to keep the home, then he'll have time to move in or renovate the property or do whatever he wants, but we're planning on selling it, right? So it'll give him the same amount of time to be able to sell it, get his stuff in order, and maybe move in with some family members to help take care of him. And then it gets real as they're looking at each other and they're like, yeah, we're going to sell it and move in with family or go into a rest home. And then I just keep going through the script. And I'm like, again, most clients in your situation, they go with the payment plan. Again, it's a lot cheaper, a lot easier to qualify for. And then, because now you're in the toolkit, you're running numbers for them, I just start BSing with them. I'm like, you guys have any fun plans for the weekend? How's the weather? What are you guys doing in your life? You have kids, grandkids? Tell me everything. Like, let's be friends. I'm expecting a little baby girl. I'm excited for that. I'm scared. You guys have any tips? I do that all the time. And then I go into numbers after.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So you don't like put them on hold while you're going through the toolkit. You're just kind of BSing and you're multitasking.
No, because if I were to ask you, Isaiah, I'd be like, hey, how long have you and Caroline been together?
Oh, we can talk for, a long time about that.
You're going to start going in. And once you ask people questions and there's a little bit of trust, people love to talk about themselves. That's something I learned from my uncle, and people will spill their guts to you. So there's no need to put them on hold. And you put them on hold, you create that awkward silence. I mean, people can do whatever they want. I hate doing that. So I sit there and I'm just like, weather's been crazy here in Utah. It was 16 degrees yesterday. I fell off my porch and landed on my back on the ice. You know, it's freaking cold. How's the weather out there? And that's a straight up conversation I had with somebody. And they're like, yeah, the weather's been crazy cold out here. I'm like, yeah, people have died, haven't they? And that's no brainer stuff. You can just sit there and do that and be like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good, dude. Yeah, I can tell I mean, the other part too is like getting good at asking questions. Like, you know, like just kind of like you said, I'm just going to piggyback off of it. People love to talk about themselves, you know, so if you just kind of ask them questions about themselves and don't make the whole appointment about you, I mean, yeah, I mean, they just tend to like you a lot, you know. It's crazy. Like, dude, you can say like 5 words to somebody, but you let them talk the whole time. And then after the appointment, they're thinking, wow, Chase was such a cool guy. And like, they didn't even really get to know you that much. They just like told everything to you, right? So
It's true.
yeah, it's a real thing, but man, that was really good, bro. All right, let's do like some objection handling real quick, and then we'll open it up for questions. Common objection that everyone gets: how do you handle it if someone says, you know, maybe you start the appointment and they're like, oh, we already took care of this?
I say, perfect. That makes my job a whole lot easier. I do reviews all the time. It's one of the main things that I do. And then from there, I go, so who do you have that policy through, right? Because now they think, hey, this guy's going to help me out. He's going to help me save some money. And I try not to get to say, I'm going to help you save money, because that seems kind of salesy. But I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That makes this a whole lot easier. Who's your policy through, Isaiah?
I don't really remember the name.
You don't remember?
America?
What'd you say? Americo? Oh yeah, they're a great carrier. No, I definitely love Americo. Do you know how much you're covered for?
I'm not too sure. I think it was like 100,000.
100,000. Oh, that's awesome. And how much are you paying every month?
I think it was like 50.
Okay, great. Hey, you have a really good policy. Let's see if I can help you find anything better. And then from there, if they've already got a policy, I don't really go through the script per se the same way, because now that they've been through the process, they understand it. So I just explain some of the key things. So I'm like, hey, that's great. I do have to send over all my state licenses to you. And then I do the same thing. Hey, I'm the ugly guy on there. Don't turn to stone when you look at it, because again, now we're friends. And while we're doing that, I'm going through and I'm seeing if I can beat prices. And legitimately, if their policy is super good and I can't find anything to beat it, and then I tell them, hey, that policy is great. Keep it. Don't ever get rid of it. I can help add on more coverage if you see fit. And we can look into that right now, right? Because there's always, don't spend people's money for them. I've added on in these past couple of weeks, like 150,000, 200,000, 300,000 to a couple of different people, and they've already had policies. And I've replaced policies too. But if I can beat it, I'm like, great news, guys. Your policy's awesome, but I found something even better for you. Let me explain it. And then we go through it.
Dude, I love that. I do the exact same thing, man. So you're the good news guy, where everything is good news. If the policy's good, you're not talking smack about the policy. You're not saying, hey, that's a bad policy, go with this one. Just seems really salesy and snarky. Yeah, man, that's fantastic, bro. And you said another thing that was really gold too, is like, if you can't beat the policy, don't try to beat it. Like, don't force it. Like, just tell them it's a great policy, right?
It's true. If you say I can't beat that, then it's like, wow, he's real. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it's true, dude. It's building more trust. Like, some people get that backwards, where they think like, oh, they're not going to like me because they think whatever, you know, I don't have great products. But you're just real with them. They trust you, right? That's all clients want, man. They want an agent. They want someone that they can trust, that someone's not going to screw them over, dude.
One of the biggest things I could probably say, and again, I don't know very much. I'm not the best out there, period. I mean, there's guys who make millions of dollars a year. That's insane. But everything's always a good thing, period. Give me an objection. That's great. Give me an objection. Yeah, that's great. And don't ever get flustered with it, because you're like, yeah, this is normal. And if I were to put myself in that person's shoes, I'd be like, I'm not giving you jack squat of my information, you know? So they're just normal people. You're like, yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time.
I'm really impressed with you, bro. That's awesome, man. All right. What's your goal for the year, bro? 2023.
Over 400K.
Over 400. You're making it public right now. This is
Doing
recorded
it.
call.
Doing
We're
it.
gonna put this on-
My goal is 10K every week or higher.
Let's freaking go, dude. I know you can do it, man. You stick to that schedule. You put the lead. You have the lead flow. Your sales ability. There's no doubt in my mind you'll do over 400. I think you could do over 600, dude. I'm not even kidding. And I don't say that to everybody.
I would like to.
I think you can, dude.
to.
You really
Thank
can.
you.
So, wow, man. I thought this was I thought you killed it today. Appreciate you
Thank
for
you.
hopping on today, bro, and sharing.
Of course. Of course. Can I add one more thing before we head out?
Please.
You don't start selling until you get a no. That's something I learned in car sales. The no's are a good thing. Look for the no's, right? Like we don't want them to happen, but if they happen, I get excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to get around whatever your no is, and I'm gonna do it. And then I get a high off of it because I'm like, now I'm selling. Now I'm actually showing you why you need this, why this is necessary for you.
Yeah.
Because of that no. Because if the whole time they're like, yes, 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 this is great, and they're all bubbly, I kind of get a little afraid. I'm like, do you actually understand? Are you gonna cancel this?
Right.
The no's are a good thing. You
Right.
don't start selling till you get a no.
Right. That was
Anyways,
cool.
thanks for having me on. Honestly, thanks guys.
Of course, dude.